Welcome to Stranger Than Fiction. Today I want to talk about a chilling true story that happened in the quiet town of Villisca, Iowa. It all starts with the Moore family, who were a well-known and well-liked presence in the community. Josiah B. Moore, aged 43, and his wife Sarah, 39, were the proud parents of 4 children: Herman Montgomery, aged 11, Mary Catherine, 10, Arthur Boyd, 7, and Paul Vernon, just 5 years old. The Moores were an affluent family, and they were deeply respected in their close-knit neighborhood. On June 9, 1912, Mary Catherine Moore invited 2 young guests, Ina May, 8, and Lena Gertrude Stillinger, 12, to spend the night at the Moore residence. It was to be an innocent and pleasant sleepover, a welcome diversion from the routine of everyday life. That evening, the Moores and their young guests attended the Presbyterian Church, where they all participated in the Children's Day program. Sarah had been instrumental in coordinating the event, and it ended at 9:30 p.m. After the program concluded, the group made their way back to the Moore residence. It was a serene and ordinary summer evening, filled with the laughter of children. However, what followed was anything but ordinary. At 7 a.m. on the fateful morning of June 10th, a concerned neighbor, Mary Peckham, began to worry when the Moore family had not appeared to tend to their usual morning chores. Something was amiss. Mary knocked on the Moore's door but received no response. She attempted to open the door, but it was locked. Worried, Mary decided to let the Moore family's chickens out and promptly called Ross Moore, Josiah's brother. Just like Mary, Ross knocked on the door and shouted but received no reply. Using his house key, he unlocked the front door. What they discovered inside was a scene of unimaginable horror. In the guest bedroom, Ina and Lena Stillinger lay lifeless on the bed. The entire Moore family and their 2 young guests had been brutally bludgeoned to death. It was a horrifying sight. Ross quickly informed Mary Peckham to call for help. Henry "Hank" Horton, Villisca's primary peace officer, arrived at the scene shortly thereafter. As they began their search of the house, it became evident that this was a crime of unparalleled cruelty. Doctors later concluded that the murders had occurred between midnight and 5 a.m., shrouded in the veil of night. The killer or killers had patiently waited in the attic, a pair of spent cigarettes suggesting they bided their time, and then struck when their victims were sound asleep. The initial attack occurred in the master bedroom, where Josiah and Sarah Moore slept. Josiah bore the brunt of the brutality, his face so terribly maimed that his eyes were missing. A chilling gouge mark on the ceiling marked where the axe wielder had lifted the weapon. The killers used the axe's blade on Sarah but employed the blunt end for the other victims. Herman, Mary Catherine, Arthur, and Paul were all bludgeoned in the head in the same gruesome fashion as their parents. After the carnage in the master bedroom, the murderer returned to inflict further blows on the elder Moores, even knocking over a shoe filled with blood. The trail of blood led downstairs to the guest bedroom, where the murderer took the lives of Ina and Lena. The horrific scene was made even more chilling by the presence of a 4-pound slab of bacon, placed next to the axe. Investigators also found untouched food and bloody water during their search, indicative of a killer who had stayed to savor the aftermath of their heinous act. When people were later allowed into the house, they contaminated the weapon, making it nearly impossible to identify the perpetrator. The investigators' theory was that all the victims, except for Lena Stillinger, had been asleep when they were mercilessly murdered. It was believed that Lena, awake and aware, had fought back. She was found lying across the bed, bearing defense wounds to her arm. The Villisca Axe Murders remain a chilling and unsolved chapter in American history, an event that defies explanation and continues to haunt the memories of the town of Villisca and all who encounter the tragic story. The lengthy investigation led to many possible suspects emerged, including Reverend George Kelly, Frank F. Jones, William Mansfield, Loving Mitchell, Paul Muller, and Henry Lee Moore, no relation. Kelly was tried twice for the murder. The first trial ended in a hung jury, while the second ended in an acquittal. The other suspects in the investigation were also exonerated. To this day, the Villisca Axe Murders remain an unsolved mystery. This concludes today's visit to the Moore family murders. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed our video. Let us know what you think about this case, comment below. Please like, share and subscribe for more.